About Black Women Gods Gather in Atlanta, March 2024. We're gathering between the 16th and the 23rd, I think it is. All the details are with the link in my bio. So we're talking about not doing it alone. And here's who I'm for. Here's who we're here for. For those of you who are new here, hello, my name is Naima. I'm here every weekday, 8 a.m. Pacific, on TikTok, Facebook. This is where Black women gods, the original woman comes to connect with her likeness and refine her emotions so she can do what she came here for. Okay? So, who is this for? What does my company do? We help those of us who are in hiding, who are, as one woman said yesterday, in holding, also meaning waiting, who are in isolation, who have been playing small, and you have a calling. You're ready to speak powerfully online in your content. You're ready to speak powerfully, speak truth to power in your keynote speeches around the world. And you know that the playing small and the hiding and the talking about the safe topics and low courage is not going to get you, first of all, the personal satisfaction of knowing that you're doing your thing, your real calling. Number two, the impact that your heart and soul is hungry to have. Number three, the money. That would just be the cherry on top of all of the deeper fulfillment, personal satisfaction, and impact. And then fulfilling what the hell you came here for. How about that? For those of you who have a call. So, the mentorship and the community here at the Academy for Womanhood helps you go from hiding in small to playing big on the world stage. Hiding and playing small to playing big on the world stage. And whatever playing big looks like for you, and oftentimes speaking online and offline is a huge part of that. So, in Atlanta in March, we're meeting 4 different times. Okay. Each time is different. It's variety. Why does this matter? One, you're connecting with your likeness. I spoke with a woman yesterday who's like, yeah, I told myself for 2024, um, I am going to be doing women's empowerment things and like going to events and things like that. And I said to her, I said, does this, what we're offering here, seem like a women's empowerment thing? Is that what you read that this is about? So let's address that, okay? So uh, there's a lot of women's empowerment going on, right? Oh, if you're new here, right? Because those of you who have been here, you already know. If you're new here, especially if you're on TikTok, right? On TikTok, every fourth video that comes up is another Black woman talking about the power that she knows that she is and that we are, but ain't nobody showing up doing what they really came here for. Why? Did you forget that you're the original woman? Did you forget that you have the answers? Did you forget that there's a primal power for you to unleash? Did you forget that part? Primal. Were you not made aware of how much your pussy and your connection with your body is directly linked to your ability to speak powerfully in your keynote speeches around the world? Did you not get that memo, sweetheart? That your relationship with your body, how deeply you allow yourself to feel in the presence of others. Let me even go deeper. How much you allow your body to feel in the presence of others. Being witnessed in your full primal power in front of an audience of 50 people, 50,000 people, 5,000 people. You do understand that that's the actual power and fulfillment and impact that you're looking for, right? Where you can be so lit up on stage and you don't feel the need to run and hide or lie or pretend or play small. You do understand that this hiding that you're doing and this waiting, this woman, to her son is 25. She's still talking about she waiting. You do understand that this isolation that you're doing, this what the intellectuals like to do. Oh God. The thinkers, we're so mentally acute. Those of us who are, in academia, or we're big thinkers, or we have written these elaborate essays that have won awards, and like, we know how to do such an articulate, mentally articulate job of constructing the story in a way where we, as much as we can, do not feel the weight of our decisions. But what happens is you start lodging things when you do that. When you do when you're an intellectual, like you're smart, right? Hi, Sage. Like when you're smart, like really smart, book smart, right? Not necessarily street smart, but when you're really book smart and like you got a PhD and you've written a lot of really research data, right? And so you have to work this a lot. What ends up happening is when it comes to getting into your feminine primal power, which is not of this, it's not of this, it's of the full spectrum of all. It's like the whole bounty of consciousness, right? Is a whole other dimension than this, the thinking mind. And so what happens is when the feminine power in you is desiring to swell up, and you can feel it because you want to push it down with food. That's why a lot of Black women who are powerful are fat and overweight, right? Because they're pushing the power down with food because they don't want to feel it. They're scared, right? A lot of us have not resolved sexual trauma. So, okay, so that's another reason why we shop all the time, and we will use our kid. My mother told me this years ago. A lot of women just use their kids as an excuse to not pursue their dreams. It's not really about, oh, because the kids. The kids is just a socially acceptable reason to not really go after her dreams, because how do you explain the women who have 4 kids and become high level CEOs and got help in the house and da da da? How do you, well, what's the difference between these two women? What's going on up here? That's the difference between the two. So, what happens? Let me finish, right? When you're super smart up here, you know how to take it. And when I was listening to this woman talk yesterday, I was like, wow. And I wasn't even going to go there in the call because that's not what we had come there for. And then plus, listen, that's work for me to do. That's such a gift for me to get in people's face like that. And I'm not just giving that to people who have not shown me they're even ready for that gift. Okay. So I'm listening to this woman talk, and it's like the way she structured things in her mind so that she doesn't feel the weight of her decisions. But what she's also done, because it's inevitable, that also was coming up out of her, is you start to push it down unwittingly into your unconscious. So then it becomes lodged. So then the relationship that you have is this heavy mental up here, while you've lodged it down into your unconscious mind, and it's going to show itself in the form of back pain. Her pussy either is dry or will become dry. She will lose her magnetic ability to create. She has a Google document like many of you have. You have a Google Drive full of ideas and plans and visions, and that's just collecting dust that you're not doing anything about. And that's because the juice that the feminine is, come on, the juice that the feminine is, she does not work well when you try to take this, which the mental, this whole like thinking where you want to plan it out and good and bad, and we must be ordered and structured. That's a guaranteed way to dry up your pussy. That's a guaranteed way to lose your creativity, your spark, and your magnetism. So I'm saying this for you articulate, intelligent ones who are just so heavy up here You will take somebody with your words and twist them and because you do it with yourself. Yeah, see, and you're gonna pay for that. You already paying for that, like this woman is. I think she's close to 50 years old now. Okay, has all these ideas at a heart level inside of a Google file collecting dust. And as she says, her dynamic years are behind her. That's what she said. Her dynamic years are behind her. How many of you on your way to having your dynamic years behind you? How many of you on your way to having your dynamic years behind you? Hmm? How many of you, as Carl Jung said, the great Carl Jung, he said, the greatest tragedy of a family is the unlived life of the parents. Let me repeat that. The greatest tragedy of a family is the unlived life of the parents. What do you hear when I say that? What do you hear when I say that? You just getting started, Sage? Hey, girl. Hey, Bella. Hey, Sephora. What do you hear when I say that? The greatest tragedy to a family is the unlived life of the parents. This lip color is by Beauty Bakery. I'm curious to hear if somebody, at least on TikTok, is gonna, since I got some engagement going on over here. Hey, Heidi. So, the way a mother or a father, right? Parents will be like, I can't pursue my dreams because I have children. I can't follow this thing that beats, pulls my heart and soul because I have kids. Yeah, life unlived is one of regret. Very true. I can't because of the kids. I can't because of the kids. I can't because of the kids, right? So it's like this woman who I described to you who has all of this like mental, what you might call it, oh, I'm being responsible. Okay. And so you create all these reasons why you don't do the thing that sets your heart and soul on fire. And they all sound very good, right? Like, well, because I got to wait for the kids to graduate from college. Oh, well, because, my son needs to do this thing because of whatever, right? My daughter, she needs this for whatever, right? And you don't do that, right? And in the meantime, you're holding, as this woman even said yesterday, she used the word holding. And I was like, what do you mean by holding? And she said waiting, right? So you're holding this vision, you're holding this passion, and it sits with you, right? Because the kids, right? And we all know kids are watching what you do. They're not necessarily listening to what you say, they're watching what you do. They watch how you interact with the checker at Target. They're watching how you respond in road rage. They're looking at how you respond to the parents. They're looking at how you live your life. And as they get older and they start to develop their own opinions about life and etc., and they're looking at, well, what they want to do and what they like, and then they're looking at what you're doing, and then if they ever hear you say something like, I'm not living my dream because for you, or I'm not doing this because of the kids, it puts Carl Jung called it a psychic burden, is what he called it. It's a psychic burden. And so that's why you'll get some kids, they start rebelling against the life that their parents lived because they see what that has created in the house. Like, my mom didn't do these things, and now I feel like, I got to sacrifice, and I'm rebelling against that, right? That's the result of a psychic burden. Or a child knows that the mom always wanted to be an actress, and so now she feels the psychic weight of being the reason why the mom wasn't the actress. So now she feels this seemingly incontrovertible, impulsive urge to go be an actress now because she wants to fulfill what her mother couldn't fulfill because, oh, she couldn't because she had me. That's what psychic weight looks like. Okay. And we could share countless stories of how children will resent parents because the burden of the parent, or the parent wants to live vicariously through the child, or all of that are examples of psychic weight, which is why Carl Jung said the greatest tragedy of a family is the unlived life of the parents. So this primal, I want y'all to know, at the end of the day, this is what everybody is scared of, particularly as it relates to women. Because there's no rules and laws, both formal laws and social laws, against men's primal nature. Like, it's expected that they are sexual, and, you know, there's a way that um, there's a permission and kind of freedom that men have that women don't have. And when I say freedom for women, I'm not talking about having sex with a bunch of men. I mean, how many of us just don't even feel safe in our own bodies, fully clothed, don't feel safe in our own bodies? I'm talking about a woman, as I talked about earlier, for the women who I'm working with who are eager to come on TikTok, who are already keynoting around the world, and they want to come online and speak truth to power. They want to speak about sexual trauma. They want to talk about one woman I'm working with right now. She works with helping folks build wealth through their businesses. And she wants to get into the nitty gritty of the real feelings going on behind, why aren't you opening your bank statements? What kind of feeling do you not want to feel? What kind of shame? She talks about shame a lot. And she's scared to come on TikTok and talk about that truthfully. You see? Because she's 46 years old. She's been doing this for a while. She's like, it's not about the money. It's the feeling behind the money, why we treat money the way we do and act the way we do. And I want to get into the feeling of it all. So that's requiring her to get into feeling and the way that she hasn't quite yet, which is why she's working with me. And all of the emotionality and the feeling. Hi, Drip. Thank you. The whole emotionality and feeling behind primal power for women. This is why Black Women Gods Gather matters. It's time for us to be gathering in person, okay? It's time for us to have the environment to practice feeling ourselves, number one. Number two, being witnessed by others as you feel yourself without feeling the need to, you know, start doing all the things to make yourself smaller and covering yourself up and, scared of, how about this? Afraid to be beautiful and sexy. How about that? How about that? There's a testimonial on, it's on Facebook. It's actually here on TikTok. Is it here on TikTok? It might be, but you'd have to scroll. But I think it's pinned to the top of the Facebook page right now. A woman named Gwenna Hunter. We are on video together, and she talked about her experience inside of Shadow Gold. Now, by Gwenna's judgment, she said this, not me, okay? She ate herself into being overweight. Remember I told you earlier, uh, a lot of Black women are overweight because they actually feel safer overweight, okay? And so she admitted that because once she was thinner and she was more in her primal power and free out in the world, she was having experiences that she couldn't handle. See, this is another reason why Shadow Gold matters, is because when you are afraid of your power, you will do what Gwenna did. When you don't know how to deal with the various ways that anybody can come at you, man or woman, what you think you're gonna do? You're gonna run, you're gonna hide, you're gonna cover up, you're gonna gain weight, So one of the things that Shadow Gold helps you do, and even more, what we'll be doing at Black Women Gods Gather in Atlanta in March. All the details are with the link in my bio. The ability to hold and wield your primal power is a skill that you will develop over time. One of the ways that you will develop it is, first of all, feeling the permission and the safety to feel it. Okay? versus wanting to stuff it down with macaroni and cheese, and you get yourself so full with food that you're numb. That's what we do, don't we? You shop, you distract, you versus learning how to sit, learning how to open your legs and be with all of it. Then the next step is letting other people witness you in it. Because if you out somewhere and you on fire, you're awake and you're magnetic, you're in the full bounty of your feminine essence, and people start, right? Like we just finished the God Power workshop last week. One woman did a video here on TikTok. She was like, I've just been so magnetic. People have just been so, and when you're not used to that and just stuff starts coming fast, because please know that you're moving at the current speed that your body can handle. You're moving at the current speed, you're manifesting at the current speed, you're engaging and doing things at the current speed that your body can handle. And when you start dissolving all the weight, remember I talked about how we can push things down into our unconscious mind so it becomes a weight in the body. And you'll feel it in the back pain, you'll feel it, you'll get cancer, your skin will break out, hair, all kind of shit. What's that happening? You need to first get comfortable with feeling vast, vast power in your body. And I know many of us are scared of this. Many of us have been sexually molested. We've been raped. Society is terrified of women being in actual real power. I mean, to the point where you don't even fear death. I mean, like, you need to understand everything is controlled by keeping you afraid. If I can get you to be scared of your body, scared of men, scared of losing money, scared of being killed, scared of your children being, if I can scare you in any of those kind of domains, I own you. As soon as listen, we can go as far as you want to go. Okay? We can go as far as you want to go. Welcome all of it. Welcome all of it and mean it. You're going to do that at a pussy level, not up here. Well, let me think about it. Let me write down the pros and cons of me coming into my primal power. Well, let me go and put together a spreadsheet of everything that hey, I mean, you got options here. You can stay overweight with all your overweight friends, never doing what you came here for, looking at other people, projecting your upsetness onto other people, feeling like a runt. It's like always ready to talk shit about somebody because you just so. Hello, Nihilus. You know? You know what I'm saying? Or, here's one thing. Remembering that, remember when you were, remember 10 years ago? Let's say you're 46. Remember when you were 36? Where did the 10 years go? Where did the 10 years go? Where did they go? What have you done with the last 10 years? So what are you going to do it? So you see your time is limited. Are your parents still alive? Are your grandparents still alive? Remember when they were 50, 40? So like the point is, you know your time is limited, right? I want to address something. Oh, I blocked that person. I want to say this to everybody who's here now and who will see the whole thing right now. Your lower self and your higher self are of equal importance. Somebody on here said the word primal sounds like you're talking about your lower nature as powerful. It is. Any part of yourself that you reject is where your weakness is. Please know that. Anything in yourself that you reject. So, for example, a lot of women reject their sexual self, which is why many women just become tools for men. You, you just have sex because he wants it and you don't even like it. You got to take supplements and use lubes and things to get your pussy wet because you're not naturally turned on because you reject your sexual self. Do you know that when you're in your full power, which is inclusive of your lower nature, your pussy is always wet or it can easily get wet? You ain't got to do lubes and take juices and supplements and herbs and all of this shit that people got to do to get the pussy wet. Like, your lower self matters. Your higher self, they're equally important. It's not like this one is better and that one is this one's lower. No, we can't. Duh. They're equally. So I've been over time. I'm over time. I'm only supposed to be here for 15 minutes. However, this black us gathering in Atlanta is hot and heavy right now, and I got a lot to talk about as it relates to why coming together physically matters. And one is you can look at the details to see what we're going to be doing because it's next level. It's next many levels. And one, we're not going to do this alone. Two, it's critical that we are witnessed in coming to our power, that we are witnessed. Can I get a witness? Okay. And so as you read details, feel, because this is not a thinking thing where we like, well, let me think about this. There you go. Thank you. Let me think about this. All right, I'm out of here, y'all. Take good care of yourself. You are loved, sweetness. You are loved. Let me go over here real quick.